year ago, you said you wanted enough shelter beds for everyone on the streets by the end, or by the beginning of 2019. Do you have an estimate on how many beds you want by the end of this coming year?
So, let me say this, as an elected official, it's really stupid to put numerical goals out there because then everybody focuses on the numerical goal, their success or failure based on the numeric goal. The reality is this: the number of beds that have already come online just since I made that statement puts us on a track to greatly exceed that goal by the second year of my administration. That being said, that's not going to be enough. It may not even make a measurable impact on the problem facing our community. It's a good start. But the reality is we've got a tent camping policy that's not working. It's a static model. It keeps people on the streets. We have people living in bushes and doorways under bridges. I think ultimately the public's not going to hold me accountable by that metric. I actually believe what they're going to hold me accountable to is when they walk through the community or drive through the community, do they see fewer people living in the rain, living outside? Do we have more humane alternatives to people living outside? In other words, do they have access to a toilet? Do they have access to a shower? Do they have access to laundry? Is it a safe place? Do they have access to social services that can give them whatever they need to get off or stay off the street? Those are the bigger issues. I believe we'll have the shelter. The county's done a great job. The city's done a great job with mass sheltering. We're in conversations, and I think in fairly quick order in January we'll be announcing another, but it's going to have to be a deeper and broader strategy. Sorry.
Your answer sounds a little bit like
We're going to beat the metric. I'm not walking away from the metric. We're going to beat the metric. I'm just saying right now, I don't think that's enough.
But you also said you didn't give a number. Even if you're not comfortable giving a specific number, I mean a range, but it's a successful campaign usually to say, I'm going to do cut the number of homeless in the streets by half because people say, wow,
you want me to say I'm going to make Portland great again? Fabulous. That's not what I'm going to do. Here's what I said. Okay, fine. Here's what I said during the campaign. I will reiterate. What I said during the campaign is that there will be enough emergency shelter beds in this community for everybody counted as being homeless on the streets of this community. I am telling you, since I made that statement, that's 2 years into my administration. Since that statement was made, I think there's been 750, 800 new beds, and I haven't even taken office. We're going to pass that goal. But what I'm telling you now is, while you can hold me to that goal, I don't think it's enough. I've actually decided we need to do more than that, because while a home for everyone, the coalition of the city, the county, nonprofits, they've moved 4,500 people off the streets in the last year. They've done really good. The problem is, for the 4,500 people they moved off the street, there are at least 4,500 new people who've moved onto the street. We're going to have to be much more aggressive, much bolder in our approach to addressing the homeless situation. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying walking away from the goal. I'm just saying I think it's sort of a minimal goal at this point. It's like saying, Kennedy said we're going to the moon, and you're asking me, are we going to create a committee to talk about building NASA?
So
I think we've got to move beyond
but
this.
were you saying that you promised a shelter bed for everyone who was on the streets back when? Or are you saying?
I said by the end of my second term, or excuse me, the end of my second
who's
year.
on the streets, but there shouldn't be anyone on the streets by the end of your.
There will be people on the streets. There will, even if we create enough mass sheltering, and even if we're able to successfully create some alternatives, tiny house villages, a Homer Williams style haven model, or what San Francisco is doing. They've shifted their navigation center. Hear me out, let me finish. I will still do what I said I will do. I'm just telling you, it's going to have to be a
But what you said
strategy.
you do is have enough shelter beds for anyone who's out on the streets.
Correct.
At any same time. in the
Correct,
next
but
2
not
years.
everybody will accept it. There are some
Okay.
people who will say, you know
So-
what, let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
They will say, I don't want to go into a mass shelter, or I don't want to go into a tiny house village, or I don't want to go into a navigation center or a haven-like model. For those people, we still need to do something. And what I would encourage a Home for Everyone to do is light a fire under the chronically homeless. They did a great job on housing veterans. They've done a great job on housing women and children. We have not done a great job on the chronically homeless that makes up a large proportion of the people that we're seeing on the streets. And we need to light a fire under that.
So your policy is going to drive, a priority for more shelter beds?
Yes.
It's gone in that direction. Mark Jolan, he gives a presentation about how shelter beds cost at least as much as housing. What's your counter argument to essentially that fact? That you're saying we should concentrate at least partly on opening shelter beds.
Okay, so
And
I love Mark Jolan. I think he's a hero in this community. I think he's one of the most effective leaders, particularly on this issue of homelessness. I think he's wrong. And I'll tell you why I think he's wrong. I think he's wrong because I served in a homeless shelter for a number of years that catered to women and children who were homeless. It was an emergency shelter. It was in the basement of a church. It was run by volunteers. I'm not saying it has to be fancy. I'm saying it has to be humane. And I believe what he is talking about when he says it costs as much, I believe what he is talking about is the actual construction and maintenance of a new facility. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the kind of conversation that I was engaged in a year ago. And we have to go back and remember the context of the conversation. I said we need more emergency shelters. And I want you to remember that I got a lot of blowback for that. At the time, people did not like to hear me talking about mass shelters in the city of Portland. And since that time, lo and behold, we've had people from the business community step forward. We've seen more attention by the city and the county. That conversation is no longer a should we do it. The question is, can we do enough of it? And so that's what we're striving to do. You look skeptical. So express your skepticism.
Oh, my skepticism is on the politics of that. I don't remember that being I wasn't reporting as a city reporter at the time, but I don't remember that as a.
Well, there was great
blowback.
skepticism. I remain skeptical personally.
Okay.
So from skepticism to rehashing old arguments.